Push versus pull marketing. Best target audience explained. Happy Friday and welcome to the We Don't Play podcast show. Also, welcome to the room where you listen, you live, you learn, and you earn. You're able to understand how things work, the difference between push and pull marketing. How does it work for your audience? How do you build audiences and allow more people to connect with you? How do you consistently and intentionally, I was going to use those two words together, consistently and intentionally build patterns of connections with people where you can be able to know exactly whether it's going to be a push or a pull. And each of those two options have a variant effect. They all have something to do when it comes to connections and getting back and being part of a community where people are accessing content and they're also reconnecting back with you. So these are the times that we have to think about this specific tools and business partner decisions where we as owners, entrepreneurs, creators are able to say, okay, here's how we're able to make more content today. And if we can use these specific tools, it'll be a much better place for us to grow as communities if we want to start building connections online, offline, or inline with some of these content over time. So we're going to talk about this today and the difference between push and pull marketing. And if you really think about what they both are, you can say another way of saying push and pull marketing is outbound versus inbound marketing. So outbound is more of the push and inbound is more of the pull. So both of them are going to have two different variants. Welcome KP, Mohammed, and Courtney. Thanks for being here today. When you have content that is going to be continued through conversation, then the way you want your audience to respond back to your target marketing efforts is going to be highly explained based on how well you know their pain points and how well you've explained the solution. So that's going to take time because with push marketing, it's more so like actively promoting and telling people, oh, buy now, do this. And yes, they're there to purchase a product or purchase a tool or purchase an experience or purchase or invest in something. But their goal is not to be pushed to it. Even though pushing them to something may be a good way of directing, but it should be done in a way that shouldn't be pushy, right? Too much of everything is bad. So when we think about that, there's also pull marketing, right? And that's where we have attractive ways of connecting. That's what we normally do. That's what normally I do as well, because pull marketing and inbound marketing is more targeted and it's also interested, right? Because you're only here listening to this because you're interested in listening to this type of information. So when it becomes an interesting topic, that has increased the level of intention because now the target audience is more specific to not just the content, welcome Marina, but also the brand. So when you think about it long term, especially with pull marketing, if you really look at social media, everything that you see on social media is pull marketing. It's all pull marketing. Clubhouse is pull marketing. Facebook is pull marketing. LinkedIn is pull marketing. All social media is pull marketing. And pull marketing is just another way of saying, how are you creating consumer-driven engagement? That's really what pull marketing is about, inbound marketing. How do you drive consumer-driven engagement, right? Because that is something that's going to come through your content, it's going to come through your performance, it's going to come through how you structure your SEO, how you structure your GEO. For those who know search everywhere optimization or search engine optimization, or generative engine optimization or generative everywhere optimization. This is just another way of saying, how do we connect with people at a longer span of time. Welcome, Lucas. Within a faster threshold. Because we think about these things. Thank you for the thumbs up, Lucas. So you think about these things long term, and your business is going to be highly connected and interconnected to how you present your content online. So if you're thinking about the best ways to create a target audience that's going to be helping you generate brand loyalty, that long-term loyalty is going to lead to the sales, right? That's where you think about those things that drive more focus, because pull marketing takes long-term focus. When you think about pulling something, think about pulling a pipe or pulling something that's really long. Welcome, Husan. You think about pulling something, it's going to take a while to pull. Like you're going to pull. Pulling does not take 2 seconds. Pulling normally takes a lot of time. If you're reading about pulling, have you ever played a tug of war? There are different ways to pull. Pulling takes time. So that time it takes to pull from one to the other side, you're going to pull this pipe from this side to this side, or pull this microphone cables from this side to that side. That pulling is going to take a while, because that pulling requires time to be continuously involved in the intention of making that pull or that continuous cycle have a completion rate, if you really think about it that way. So when you look at pull marketing, right? Pull marketing is social media. Oh, we're going to talk about this today. Everybody that's interested in this topic is going to see what you've talked about. That's going to find it if you put it in a way that's accessible. So you're looking at social media as inbound marketing. Yeah, SEO is also inbound marketing. Content is inbound marketing, because this has a long-term gain. It has a long-term focus. With SEO now, it takes between 4 weeks to 24 months to see progress. And that is highly dependent on your structure. And every day things change. Like I noticed some things with websites and I'm like, oh, okay, let's configure this. Let's change this. Let's change that. Because every day something new keeps happening. You can't rely on SEO for 2017, 2013 in 2026, come 2027. It's going to be really intentional for you to think about this long term and ask yourself, where are we creating this? And I did some research too, and you can also do this research. By 2027, about 90 million American adults are going to be using AI. And that's about 25% of the population on average. And just in, 2023, it was 15 million, 13 million, according to Statista. So just do your research as well, and please do your research. I always love doing research, so please do yours too. I'm just giving you the information and you can run with it too. But that's information that you're hearing. And if that's going to take a while, then that means there's going to be a lot of time for someone to spend to be connected to you. When someone sends you an email, sends you another email, there's outbound email marketing, there's inbound email marketing. Why is there a difference? Those two are different, because outbound is like, okay, I don't know you, you don't know me, but we both know we need this. But how are we going to know if we've not been able to justify exactly what it is? So that's why it takes quick things. Oh, buy now, click here, sign up, 50% off, free shipping. Okay, it's a lot of things happening at the same time compared to inbound marketing, where it's like we're nurturing, we're giving you polls, surveys, we're making sure we're giving you videos, case studies, we're able to give you blogs, podcasts, books, referrals, downloads, things that you're like, okay, I get it now. By the time you get it, before you know it, you got everything that you need so that you can make that final decision to take the next step. And that takes time. That's why SEO takes time. And sometimes when I look at SEO and I'm like looking at it differently, I'm like, okay, how are we able to make these things more potentially aware for people to find more access points so that they can actually dominate their communities, dominate online? And if you're able to do it in a good way, you can really take your time and take this to the next level. So we're going to dive deep into this today. Celeste, what's going down? Happy Friday. We'd love to hear from you. What's happening and what are you thinking about the topic for today, especially when it comes to marketing and audience targeting?
What up, yo? Happy Friday, everyone. I am using this as a co-working session. I have so much stuff I have to do in about an hour. So yes, I will be here listening and chiming in when I can and also typing away on my computer. So thanks for having this room. This really helps me. I'm a little ADHD, y'all, so I be needing a little background noise to get my things done. So thank you, Favour, for hosting this room.
You are welcome, Celeste. You just made me remember something that is so important. You're right about working and productivity, especially today and the time we're in when it comes to people listening to music or listening to podcasts. Are they early birds? Are they night owls? It's a big deal. I'll just give you two references. The first one is the one I had on LinkedIn. I made a poll on LinkedIn a couple of days ago, and the poll was very simple. And let me see, I'm going to LinkedIn now. Yeah, there are 42 votes. And I asked, are you an early bird or a late night owl? And I got about 38% early bird, 62% late night owl. So that's 16 people are early birds and 26 people are late night owls. So I said, oh, okay, that's interesting. So when you think about productivity, you think about the time, you think about pull marketing, push marketing. These are the times people are active. There's a time people are actively listening or passively listening. And when they're actively doing something, they're taking action on what they're hearing, right? So when you now think about the marketing aspect and you being the person that is showing up on their feed, how are you able to do that more consistently? So when you mentioned that, Celeste, I was like, oh, this is interesting, because if you guys click the link at the top and you click on my link and you scroll down, you're going to see a section that says right under the quiz, you'll see visit my podcast audience sample data. And that's where you're going to see my podcast and you're going to see some details there. So there's a place I'm going to go to, which is audience profile. And I got some really amazing stats that really shocked me. But at the same time, I was like, okay, now there's more I can be able to understand. So I realized that there are 4 ways people listen to my podcast. And the link is available at the top, and you can see it too in the visualization chart. 90% of people listen while working, 75% listen while commuting, 85% listen while working on professional development, and 55% are on exercising. So that said a lot, and I was like, oh wow, that is very interesting, because it shows at what point are people having the most time spent with the most productivity done at the same time. What do you think, Celeste?
Okay, repeat the one about the exercising. Did you say 55%?
Yeah, 55%.
That's crazy. I kind of feel like such a lazy, I guess, content ingester, because I never listen to content when I'm exercising. I need hardcore trap music to keep me going. Maybe I'll try listening to your podcast and see if that helps.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, it's interesting because, for me, one of the reasons why I understand why they listen to my podcast while exercising is because every season, and even this new season, we just kicked off season 13, and this season now has a whole new soundtrack. So every new season, I always create a soundtrack and I always have background music. So whenever there's background music, you're not only listening to the episode, you're also listening to music in the background. And every year, you know how you do Spotify Wrapped or Apple Wrapped? I always get the Wrapped, and I'm always seeing what genre of music that my listeners are listening to my podcast. So it changes every year, because I'm like, people have different taste. Number one could be this, could be that. So it's like, okay, so the music I actually created for this season is so different because it's like a mixture of, I can say, Afro beat, Afro Latin, rock, and a little bit of some like punk, like bounce, like bass and kick. It's crazy. And I said, okay, I'm going to make it like a nice mix, and it's very interesting. And I was like, yeah, this is gonna have a different feel. And something to also note, this is why I did it this way. I didn't just do it the way I did it. I don't know if you've heard this before, but if you really think about it, I'll give you some really insightful stats, which would be like, oh, okay, next time you go to one of these places, check it out for yourself and you actually notice something. There's a study that was done, and the study was done by a wealthy educator. And they said that slow music makes you shop 30% longer. Fast music makes you move quickly and buy less. That's why grocery stores play music at 60 to 80 beats per minute. And classical music increases spending on wine by 40% compared to pop music. Have you ever bought something when you're listening to Drake? Celeste.
Drake, who's that?
Oh my goodness. You see what I'm talking about? So when you think about these things, and if you're studying for an exam and you listen to classical music, you're gonna pass that test. Try it out. Listen to classical music in the background while taking a test or just studying. You're gonna see how it plays around with your left hemisphere, your right hemisphere. How does it play into your reticular activating system, and how does that make your brain also retain information because you're reading? Some people have to be audio visual learners, some people are logical learners, some people are kinesthetic learners. I'm a self-taught drummer. I taught myself how to play the drums when I was 6. Rhythm, beats. So turning that into digital beats and bars and making tracks. The season 13 music track, I asked somebody, how long does it take? How long do you think I took to make this? And the person said 2 days. And I said it took 30 minutes because I've been making that. And yes, Team Kendrick all the way for sure, 100%. So it's different, right? So when you think about music, when you think about the style, it's different. So even with my music, I always think about the beats per minute. So when people are listening to my episodes, they're 1 hour, 2 hours long. I know that someone's going to be exercising for 1 hour, 2 hours long. If they're going to be working, they're going to be working for 1 hour, 2 hours long, at least. If they're really going to put maybe 45 minutes if they're sprinting, but they're going to have quality time to focus. And if there's something in the background that's adding more to their focus, then that's a good thing, because that means I'm able to help somebody achieve something faster than them achieving it themselves. So it's a responsibility for me to consistently show up so that they can be able to understand things better. So when they're applying concepts, they're not doing it out of oblivion, but they're doing it out of an understanding or a proof of concept. So it definitely changes the whole trajectory of how you're able to think about pull marketing, because everything we do on social media is pull marketing. YouTube, pull marketing. LinkedIn, pull marketing. Everything is pull marketing, because you're pulling someone from one page to the other, because you're creating consistent traffic for the same consistency. So if you think about it that way, your goal is to ask yourself, how do you respond to pull marketing? And pull marketing takes time. It takes time. If you think about the dollar signs, I said I was going to write this down and give this to you so you can write it down too. Because I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, let me jot this down. I wrote this at 1:59 p.m. Central Time today, because I was like, yeah, let me jot this down, because I opened this room around 2:15, about 15 minutes ago Central. So I said, let me put this down and give this to you. So if you think about conversions, because at the end of the day, everyone is trying to do marketing for conversions, for sales, for all these things. So if you look at your schedule or look at your products or your services, write this down, because this can definitely help you if you apply this and test it out for yourself too. For push marketing, which is outbound marketing, which is just another way of saying how do you advertise your content to people who need your product, but you're promoting it. So think about paid marketing, think about ads, think about cold outreach, promotions, incentives. When you go to the mall, it's push marketing. You're seeing all these things. Okay, 20% off site wide, or you can say store wide, 50% off clearance. You're seeing those things because it's pushing you to make a decision faster, and the duration is short term. If you go there and they say, oh, spring sale, it's not going to be spring sale in August. So that short term focus is going to push the incentive to make a purchase, which is an ad, a promotion, or a cold outreach. So if you're seeing TV ads when you're watching Netflix, Peacock, Hulu, Apple TV, Disney, whatever it is that you're looking at, Disney Plus, you're looking at all these ads, Netflix too. You're seeing these ads on YouTube, and these are push notifications. That's why people click skip ad, because you're pushing the button, literally. So you're pushing the button to skip now because it's a push marketing to you. Pull marketing, you're the one pushing it. Why? Because it's now being an attractive way for you to push the narrative. So if you think about the push and the pull, don't get it confused, right? Because push marketing is advertising. You're pushing an agenda, you're pushing an incentive, you're pushing a sale, you're pushing for a message to be heard at a high velocity, at a high capacity, at a shorter time span. Pull marketing is like tug of war. You're going to pull. If you're going to be going out to, get fish, or you're going to now go with fishing and you have a fishing rod, you're going to pull to get that fish. You're going to have to reel it in before you get it to the point where you can be able to bring the fish over, right? So you're pulling. That takes time. So when you think about the concept of pulling traffic takes time, and that pulling traffic is going to build over time. If you think about traffic on the road and there's actual traffic, before that traffic becomes traffic, there has to be a row of traffic lanes that have to be covered by cars, and that takes time. If there's no traffic, then everybody's moving. Traffic is when you've been on the same spot for an hour, the same spot for 30 minutes. Is it light traffic? Is it moderate traffic? Is it heavy traffic? Are you stuck? So you look at it from different ways and say, how does this traffic flow? So for push marketing, right? If you're thinking about conversions, it's anywhere between $1 to $2 signs, which means it's anywhere from $1 to $99. So if you think about push marketing and you're selling something on Pinterest, because Pinterest is also big for that too. You're going to get an ebook, you're going to buy this bookmarker, you're going to buy this pencil, you're going to buy this vase, you're going to buy this drape. Whatever it is you're buying, it's going to be at a very low cost. And then when you now think about the quantity, that's where it applies. So someone may say, okay, I want to get 3 coloring books. But now those 3 coloring books that cost $3.99 each now has a total of $30 plus, because now you're probably buying it in bulk. Or you may be buying, maybe to have variety. Or if you're buying shoes, you're going to be buying shoes and maybe buying shoes in different colors. Or you might buy one shoe and then maybe buy one jacket or one dress or one accessory. So eventually it's going to be growing because you're thinking about how they're going to also connect back with you. So when you think about target marketing, when you go to the stores, grocery stores, Walmart, Whole Foods, Target, all these places, they all have specific results when it comes to your checkout, right? When you check out, oh, it's $20. Oh, it's $103.25. Whatever your total is, that's what you're paying. And that's heading towards $3, right? $3 signs. But majority of the time, that's the total, right? Because it ranges between $2 to $3 signs total. But you're purchasing items that range between $1 to $2 signs total. So you're buying things that's $4.99, $44.50, whatever it is the price tag would be. You're getting those things at those capacities, at those prices. So if you have an ebook that's $2.99, you have a calculator that's 99 cents. You have you're buying an app from the App Store right? And the App Store is charging you $1.29, $1.29. That's the $1 sign I'm talking about. So when you start looking at it before the decimal, the prefix, then you start realizing that when you start thinking about push marketing, now it's about traffic. Now it's about qualification. It's about volume. I can't be selling you. We talked about gardening tools yesterday, Celeste, in your room. And we look at gardening tools and imagine I send you, let me just say it this way. Let's say I send you.
Yep, that's air.
Is the gauge supposed to say empty?
You can't trust those things. Don't worry, we're tethered for safety.
Asking the right question can greatly impact your future,
Are you certified for this?
Technically, no.
especially when it comes to your finances.
Do you have a question?
Are you a certified financial planner?
Yes, I'm a CFP professional.
CFP professionals are committed to acting in your best interest. That's why it's gotta be a CFP. Find your CFP professional at letsmakeaplan.org.
Yeah, let's actually do it this way. Let's say you sign up and you are interested in learning about, let's say, Pinterest, right? And then I send you an email about gardening tools that are on sale this spring. Celeste, what would you do if you got an email like that?
Oh my gosh, sorry, I was typing a client. Repeat the question.
The question is, if you signed up for Pinterest and I sent you an email about gardening tools that are on sale this spring, what would you do?
Okay, so if I had gardening tool Pinterest, if I had a business and I listed my gardening tools on Pinterest and then a customer emailed me about tools that I had on sale
Yes.
for the spring.
Jasmine is laughing. What's up, Jasmine?
I know, listen, ADHD, and then I'm like, what? I would respond. Is this a trick question, Favour? What you talking about?
Okay, I'll ask the question one more time. And guys, put in the chat what you would do. Because I want to know this is an open question. I'm not going to give you option A, B, C, or D. I just want to hear your one-time response because this is like a reaction from what you get. You sign up, I'll say this one more time. Let's say you sign up to my email list, right? You click the link at the top, you sign up to the email list, you say, okay, I want to sign up to the AI SEO newsletter. I want to learn more about SEO and everything about it, and everything is good. All right, that's the lane. Marketing, advertising, that's the zone we're in. And then you've signed up, and then you get an email. The email that you get is, hey, Celeste, we have a gardening tool that we just have on sale, and it's a spring sale, and here's a coupon to, apply 20% off or use this to get free shipping, when you hit an average order of $75, for example, and you have a gardening tool. And I give you 3 gardening tools to choose from because I have a spring sale for you. What would you do if you saw that email and you signed up for that SEO newsletter?
I probably reported it as spam because what the hell are you sending me info that I didn't ask for? That's what I would do.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you. And also I see in the chat, Jasmine says, I would be so confused because why are you talking to me about gardening tools? Yes, that's exactly what I'm responding to. So I'm glad we're getting this picture because I wanted it to really, hit home, because when you think about pull marketing is social media. We're here talking about push versus pull marketing, best target audience explained. And imagine I just switch up the whole show, switch up the whole program, and I start talking about relationships and personal development and fitness goals and all kinds of things, real estate. I just talk about all these things that, they're very important, but that's not what you came here for at this time of the day. So if you're getting an email that's going to throw you off like that, then most times, like you said, you're going to report as spam because you're like, I'm not even in that industry. Why am I getting this email? Like you're already shut off, but now you're shut out because you've literally gone from 0 to -1 because this was not expected, and now you have to deal with it because this was not even what you signed up for. So when you think about those double negatives. You don't want that to happen. So the best way to do it is by creating content that people say, okay, even if I was to ask AI, what does this person do? And the resources that come back tell you exactly what this person does. If it's not accurate, it's because there's something wrong with the system. There's something wrong with the setup. So the goal is to ask yourself, when it comes to your target audience, there are questions that you have to think about. What are their pain points? What are their pain points? Because if you're going to do pull marketing is social media, it's SEO, it's keywords, it's branding, it's loyalty, it's consumers, it's attraction, it's long-term focused, right? If you have campaigns and you have blogs and you have information that's going to target an audience that's going to help them understand, then it's better. If I ask you this question, Celeste, what would you click between these two? And let's say you need this product, but when you click this product or click this button is going to make you feel either one of the other two ways. It's the same product, but two different buttons or two different texts. And also in the chat, put this in the chat too, because I love to hear this. What would you click on and why? Buy this now or discover why today?
I think that depends on like what mind frame I'm in. Because like if I'm going to, like if I see something I want to buy, I appreciate a buy now button. Okay, I don't got time to be clicking all around just to get to like check out. But if I'm not quite ready to buy, then I don't mind, reading more and finding out more info. I hope that is a good answer.
That's a good answer. I love that. Okay. And Jasmine also gave you 100% on that too. I like that. I like the way you said that, because even when you get emails, if you're in the promotions tab, you're in promotion mode. If you're on the updates tab, you're in update mode. If you're in the primary inbox, you're in the primary mode. That's literally how your inbox is, right? When you get mail and you split out your mail, okay, this is junk mail. Okay, this is important mail. Like you're sorting out your mail because you know what's important, what you're going to open first and what you're going to open last. So if you take that same analogy and we now apply that to what are we getting at this time, then we know, okay, this buy now means that I've been waiting for this Amazon package to come in because I want to open the package, right? Because I bought it and I want to open it so fast, right? That's where the push marketing comes, because you're pushing to get to that point, right? That's a completely different feeling, right? Pull marketing with the inbound is like, okay, I know that there's a conference coming up and this conference is going to help me to do A, B, C, D. And I got the tickets to join, or this is a VIP. And now I'm going to sign up and learn more about it, or, figure out the schedule, or get to see who's coming, or do more research about the platform. Now you're in communication with that feeling of, yes, I need to get this done now. Yes, there may be two different things, or it could even be the same thing where you're going for an event, but you've been waiting for this package to come in, and that's what you've been waiting on because you purchased online. Now that's something that you're waiting for in store or at your door, or waiting for it in the inbox or in the mailbox. So when you look at it from that perspective, it changes everything. Welcome, Dr. Fashion. Welcome, Nick, Ingrid, Justice, Point. I see you too. Judith, good to have you here. Steph, and I see you, Majid, Kuidar, Dr. Eliora. Good to have you as well, Mohammed. Thanks for being here too, TM. Appreciate you for being here. So you think about these specific tools, and your tools need to tell your audience exactly where you need to be. I'm going to do a topic about zip code marketing very soon, probably next week, because I wanted to be very specific to how you can help businesses as a business find your business, because everyone's doing almost the same thing. So what makes your business different from the others? It's how you structure your business, how you set up your marketing, how do you set up your targets. So these are the things that are very important. So if you're thinking about that push marketing, that's where I was talking about that $1 to $2 signs, right? If it's pull marketing, it's from $3 signs to $5 signs plus. It's like when you go to a restaurant or a hotel and you're looking for the menu or you're looking for the reviews. and you see $2 signs, you know, okay, I'm going to spend anywhere between $10 to $99 a plate or a person, because you've seen the $2 signs. If you see $1 sign, you're like, okay, it's going to be between $1 to $9. So when you're looking at those signs, it's like stop signs, it's like traffic signs, it's like guidelines. So if you're thinking about the pull marketing, and it takes time to pull because you have to write blogs, you have to connect with people, you have to do surveys, you have to do quizzes, you have to understand your audience, and it may not be overnight. It may take 6 months, it may take 12 months. But just know in your first 2 to 3 years in business, in that type of velocity, would have saved you so much time in the future. Because if you look at a 10-year gap between your timeline and your business, if you look at 10 years, and you realize, okay, what year did we pivot? What year did we apply this? What year did we do that? Ask any business out there. They'll tell you that they applied SEO and they did SEO well. And for any website, from being a very new website, it took about anywhere from 1 to 5 years. And most businesses usually break around 2 to 3 years. And if you're really bootstrapping, between 6 months to 12 months. And then that 24 months would now be the tipping point. And that means you're at a trajectory that's actually going upwards. It's like a plane going up in altitude. So when you have the right foundation, you're able to really take off. You're really able to do things better. So your marketing right now is not just for anybody. Your marketing is for the right person. Would you rather have 1 million followers or 1 million email contacts? What would you do if you had to choose one? That's a question. People may say either or, depending on what they do. Hey, Trisha, welcome. So you might do 1 for social media, and then 2 could be for email. And then you realize, okay, now there's going to be a difference. Celeste is saying email too. And I see in the chat, Steph says definitely the email. What's the opening rate on those emails? Which emails? When you say those emails, which emails specifically? But if you mean industry, or what the industry standard is for opening rates, there are different rates, right? There's open rate. Actually, let me start here. This delivery rate, it has to be delivered first before you can open it. Oh, you said the 1 million email list. Okay, good. I love that answer. Okay. Thank you, Steph. It first gets delivered, and then it gets opened, and then it gets clicked. And then it gets clicked again. And then it gets clicked again, and then it gets opened again, and then it gets clicked again. So there's a click rate and there's a click through rate. There are 2 types of rates. So when you see a click through rate, it's a click through the pages. And when you think about the click that is taking you from one page to the other, let's say you land on google.com and someone finds your link and they click on it, and let's say 100 people saw your link and 10 people clicked on it, that's 10%. So you have a 10% click-through rate because 10 people clicked through from 100 people that saw it, including. So it's important to think about that as well. And Trisha, you said, okay, what's the best way to get through the wait? Thank you so much. Appreciate you for being here. And I'm hoping all goes well with your dad through the test and it's going to be successful. And it will be a great weekend as well for you. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. So this is where we think about marketing and our target marketing in a way that, yes, if we want to have 1 million email lists compared to 1 million followers, then we need to treat those 1 million email lists like people and not like a list. The same way we need to treat followers like people and not followers. Because when people turn from followers to fans, to super fans, then that's when you realize that your presence and the long time you took to actually grow, nurture, and connect with people is so good that you actually get to know them better. Like I was mentioning earlier on LinkedIn, I did a poll about, are you an early bird or a late night owl? Now I know. And that's a good way, a good sample data point for me. I also have another poll I'm about to do, which is actually going to be very exciting. And I'm going to ask them both in the email community and also on LinkedIn, do you wake up early, sleep late? Wake up early, sleep early? Wake up late, sleep late? Or wake up late, sleep early? And by getting to know those points, you're also able to know how well you want to connect with them. Because someone may wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning and you're missing about 50% of your audience because you didn't know that they wake up early. You didn't know they were early birds. You're not an early bird, so you didn't know they were, but you weren't. So how do you know that? Because you're not like everyone and everyone's not like you. So you have to also take that time to nurture and connect with people. That's why I always say don't run ads if you haven't built friendship. It's like, how do you get married before you become friends? You have to be friends first before you get married. So if you're going to skip all the lines to get to the finish line, what have you learned before you even got there that you could look back and say, yeah, I'm glad I went through this journey? It's the same thing with paid and organic, because you're going to spend money. It's either going to spend money or time. If you're going to spend money, great, spend money on ads. But when you can't spend money on ads no more, you can't be seen, and the people who still found you are still going to go to that same Google to look for people who are organically available. It's like saying I go to a tree and I can't see a mango tree, but I'm looking for a mango tree, but now the mango tree was probably 2 miles down. And if I walked there, I would find it because it was available. But it was there before, but because all the mango trees are cut off because something happened, okay, we can't have anything again. So we have to now go down the road to get the same thing we could have gotten 2 miles before. It's the same concept. I'm giving an analogy with your website, with emails. When you send someone an email, it forever stays in their inbox until they delete it. So if someone deletes your email, that means the value was not really exchanged well. Because even if someone unsubscribes, they're not going to go through all the emails they got from you to unsubscribe, unless they're going to sort it out, filter it, and really just delete you. That's different. But when someone unsubscribes, they're not unsubscribing from your past emails. It's from the last email you sent. So how do you really think about it and create this marketing for yourself that if you're targeting the right people, the right people will find you? I connect with 10,000 people in the email list. So if you click the link above, join the newsletter. I send out emails. My LinkedIn is close to 19,000 followers. And I connect with people. And on my podcast, it's reaching about 160 to 135 countries and territories. So now I've turned my podcast into a blog, which has now turned into a workbook that I'm going to start doing this spring, because I realize a lot of people are really struggling with podcasting. It's a thing now. Everybody has a podcast. But when I look at the structure, I'm like, here we go again, like courses in 2020. So I don't want it to be a positioning where you have the information you didn't know, but now you know. So when you know better, you do better. And it's very easy to go through. And I wanted to make it very simple, because you can either read it for yourself, or you can do the workbook and actually get it done, or we can do it for you. And we're able to actually have a working plan towards a goal that can make it actually active for you. So it takes time. It's not going to be something that's going to be done overnight. The things that I'm doing in 30 minutes, in 3 hours, in 3 months, it took years and years and years and years and years of training. Ask Dr. Fashion. She's been doing this for decades with YouTube. So you have to think about the time someone has spent, because you can't pay that time back in time that you don't even have. So just think about the amount of time you're spending on things that you could have been saving time on doing other things that actually need your time and attention. So really think about it this way. And I'd love to hear from anyone. Trish, Dr. Fashion, Celeste, what are your thoughts on this when it comes to target audience, either as a consumer or as a person producing the content for the consumer?
Favor, did you see my question? Why are you waiting till spring to put that out?
Why am I waiting till spring? Because I actually have that's a good question. Let me tell you why. So let me say it this way. I've already published it. It's already available. Like if you want to have your podcast everywhere, it's available. So I've created the blog. I published the article. It's about 15 minutes, 16 minutes read. So it's already published. Now the workbook is what I've created today, and I want to put it in a way that it's going to lead up to that time so that when someone's going to use this, they're not just going to download it, because I don't just do downloads. And someone was telling me like, okay, if you do downloads and, let people that actually want to do these things on their own, do them, then let them do them in a way that there's direction. And I said, okay, I'm going to put it in a very structured format. And it took me some time to really think through it. And I said, okay, I'm going to make it in a way that's going to be very easy to understand. So I already have the workbook ready. I'm just refining it. So I think for me, it's not that I'm waiting to spring to start. I'm waiting for what I've looked at to take its new visual effect, which is where I'm already about 98% through, that I know that once it drops and the links are available, which will now be available, it'll also be on a blog too. So it's not just going to be a drop that, hey, here's a link. I'm going to actually turn it into a blog, put it out on Google, push it out, make sure all the 50 the bot crawlers, from AI to Google to all of them, they are able to now start scanning it through. If you click the link above, I have also updated something that I believe has become an attention need for other people as well to see for themselves. And if you scroll down on my link at the top, right under the quiz, you'll see something called Visit My Podcast Audience Sample Data. And I created a visualization chart that shows you what my podcast looks like as a sample. And you can actually see everything in itself. It's called podcastwdp.click. And the link is available at the top. So all these things I'm doing is leading up to the question you asked, Trish, why would I wait till the spring? It's a good question on waiting, but I feel like it's more so preparing than waiting, because waiting looks like I'm doing nothing. But preparing is like, okay, I know that when this happens at this time, it's because I've prepared for this specific time. So it may even drop before and I'll be like, you know what, surprise. You know how Beyonce dropped one time? I'll just drop it like that. But at the same time, I know that once it drops and people have it, they already have it, they can access the link, as a blog. But now I've made it in a structured format that they can actually go through the pages and achieve it themselves. So that if they want to spend an hour doing it as opposed to 15 minutes reading it, then they've saved themselves 3 hours of research. So I want to make sure people buy their time back so that they can give back to their families, their loved ones, and do things in a better way. So I'm going to put the link in the chat as well. So, and Steph is saying spring or summer. I'm looking at it around this time. We're in the second quarter now. So I'm looking at it at this time. It's not going to be till May. So we're in April right now. So that's why I'm looking at towards the end of April. So it's very close. That's why I'm telling you about this now, because it's super, super close. I know it's already spring. I know I'm in Houston. I know it's already spring. I'm thinking about late spring. Like I'm thinking about the timeline that I'm going to create this for the people who are going to exactly. Yeah, I'm just talking about the timeline. So I'm not looking at it like, okay, I'm going to drop this on this time, or it's a summer drop. I'm thinking about, okay, by the time people are using this thing, they're in productivity mode. Because from now all the way through September, people are going to be more productive than they were between January and March. Because it's a new year, right? We're already over the Happy New Year. People are ready to work. People are ready to get things done. So I know there's summer school, there's going to be summer classes, there's going to be a lot of things happening. So I know, okay, this is the time for it to buffer. And I know that usually takes between 4 to 8 weeks for content to mature organically if you have it in a structured way. So everything is timely. It's not just, I'm just going to drop this. That's why whenever we work with clients, we work with teams, we work with businesses, we have a schedule because everything is on a schedule. Like there's a time to eat, there's a time to sleep, there's a time to work, there's a time to pray, there's a time to do everything. So I'm looking at it from that perspective so that it's not just because we have something to drop. It just drops. Sometimes before I send one email, I've probably done about 10 tests. 10 tests. I'll send it to myself, send it to myself, send it to myself. Am I sure? Am I sure? Am I sure? Am I sure? Before I send it to you once. So that means that you've received the 10th version of the first send to you. So it's very important to think about, like with music, because I'm also in the entertainment business industry too. With music, it takes time, build songs. That master song you heard is probably not the way it sounded the first version. You know, I'm a self-taught drummer. I make music. I know how that can look like. So when I see it from the angle of creating a podcast or music or a blog, it's all creation. It's all creativity. And when you take time to create things, it's going to work well because you've been able to spend time and quality time understanding the concept as opposed to just rushing through the process. That's why people say, trust the process. You know, patience is a virtue. So I take time with that and I make sure that everything is done, you know, in good time. So to your question, Trisha, what's your feedback on that? That was a great question.
So I'm going to say to you, go back about 30 sentences ago when you said, I'm not waiting. You might have, you said it. You're still building. You're still building up to it. And I think that what you're doing is you're just building a mastermind. You're continuing to grow on your programming, and it's not waiting. You're doing. You're continually doing, and you've already taken on. I keep saying this to people. You're taking on the identity. You've already taken that identity on. You're just building through the identity shift. So don't say you're waiting. You're not waiting. You're just building. I loved it when you said that. You were there already, and you continued to talk and continued to talk, and that's okay because you have a vision and you're already there, Favour. You just need to put the blocks in between where you are now and where that is. So I love it. Just keep building, man. You got this. You already know where you're going.
Thank you, Trisha. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's great to be here, connect, and see things happen in real time and hear feedback. I was on Clubhouse last night around 10 p.m. or so. Yeah, Central. Yeah, 10 p.m. And it was very interesting. You know, I covered a very heavy topic and I was, you know, discussing fat versus lean websites. What's the difference between a fat website and a lean website? It got really, really intense. So I look at these topics and I'm like, okay, now I'm able to understand what people need, what they want, and then bridge it together, make it make sense so that it's not sounding too heavy, you know, jargon wise, because SEO itself is already stressful. Sometimes when I talk and I'm like, I hope I'm not miscommunicating, because the last thing I want to do is not communicate. So it's very important to think about it like that. And I love that you saw that and you're able to ask a question, which also lit up something as well here. So thank you so much for that, Trisha. Appreciate you for that too. Tiffany, thanks for being here as well. Dr. Fashion. I don't know if Dr. Fashion, if you're making content, you're available to speak. So I wanted to know if I could say hello and check in to know what you're thinking about content. And then we come to you, Tiffany. If you have a question or contribution, we'd love to hear from all of you. The floor is open. Dr. Fashion might be making content. Tiffany, we'd love to come to you. Oh, yeah.
I am,
You see?
but I'm here.
I knew it.
Yeah, you always get me. And I'm multitasking, but I wanted to be in the room to support you. But this is such a great topic around push and pull marketing, because I told you how I don't really do any ads or anything. I've actually never done any ads for my business. Everything has been organic by me reaching people through the videos that I make on YouTube and on my website and across all social medias. So this is a really great topic, and I'm just listening in.
Thank you for being here, Dr. Fashion. Appreciate you. Tiffany, we'd love to hear from you too. Happy Friday. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? What's happening?
Happy Friday! I love this. I love the title, Favour. I was like, yes, attraction, not promotion. Let's do it. Like I I just think it's so important, right? To have that, the vibe, put yourself out there. And you know, I came in late, so I didn't get to hear everything about it, and I'm bummed because I do know what an amazing mind you have for this, Favour, and for really honing in and making it clear what your target audience wants, and then what to give them, you know, what to give them, and where to start. That's where I'm like, where do we start? What's that first step? What's that little thing? And so, you know, I'm here, I'm listening. I'm really am focused on sharing and putting it out there, not necessarily, you know, I've kind of shifted my focus on what I'm putting out there, not on the content rather than the call to action. And you know, the call to action is always, yes, connect with me, like let's connect. But you know, not focusing on come buy my stuff, but let's connect. Rather, let's connect. And I also really appreciated, I did hear what you said, Favour, about the patience, you know, because it does, when you are excited about your product, your business, your service, I get very golden retriever puppy dog energy, and people can get freaked out by me, like, okay, Tiffany, another exciting thing, yes, but like, and I can, you know, I have to realize that, you know, it's not everybody grabs or is instantly as excited about something as I am. And so having that patience, taking that step, that moment, that time to realize that doesn't mean that they're a no never. It maybe they just need time to digest that is different than the amount of time it took me to digest whatever it is I'm, you know, selling, offering, etc. And I have found that when I realize that and step back, that things have come. And an example I just will share, and then I'll pass the mic, but is Facebook today. I have a college essay workbook that I'm really excited to get into the hands of students who are writing their college essay. And, you know, I've been helping students write their college essays for the last 15 years. And now I have a workbook, right, that I can get into the hands of kids, and I really want to work with them. And so I put it out onto Facebook, and just to share about the workbook and the college essay. And I had asked these people to give me a review or a recommendation. I forget the right word for it, but you know, when someone likes what you've done, and right, you know what I'm talking about. And they all said, yes, of course, Tiffany. Oh my gosh, we'd love to do that. We'd love to do that. They say, and then like it never gets done, or I don't get that from them, that review, that recommendation. And at first I was like, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. But today what happened on Facebook was that, like, I got comments on my post by the people I'd worked with, because I put myself out there, like, here it is, what I'm doing. And that allowed them to come to me, to give me that review, to give me, to, you know, acknowledge that, yes, your services were great. And it was cool. Like, it was so cool, right? To have that naturally happen, rather than me kind of like force them to give me a review and then me to put it out, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, I just was, it felt a lot more flow. Thanks. Glad to be here.
I love the last word you gave, Tiffany, flow, because who doesn't want positive cash flow? Who doesn't want a good seamless content flow or a good email workflow? It's all in the flow. I love how you ended up by saying that, because that's what brings us back to marketing. You know, we think about marketing and we ask ourselves, what are we really marketing? Are we talking about a product, or are we just saying things because we have something to say? And if we're able to say things in a way that people can still listen to years from now, decades from now, because there are books and podcasts and shows and films and movies that you can watch, cartoons, animations, things that you can be able to still watch because you have access to them, that's intellectual property. That's proprietary information. That's first party data. That's branding. That's structure. So if we're thinking about creating these things for ourselves today in 2026, there's going to be a big difference when it comes to these numbers. And even Celeste mentioned something, and I don't want this to be, ignored. I want you guys to listen to this too. And I'm coming to you, Celeste, because I love you to, explain on this too. You said email marketing offers significantly higher, more reliable reach and engagement than social media, boasting roughly 80% to 85% audience visibility compared to organic social media reach, which is often less than 1 to 4%. Let's talk about that, Celeste.
Well, as brilliant as I am, I did not do that research. I actually put Trisha asked, where was that documented? I did put the source, a couple of links down, and if you read the whole article, it's pretty interesting. But the biggest thing that you have to understand is okay, so no, we don't own email. However, the control that we have is way, 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 way less when it comes to social media. You are kind of battling against this thing known as the algorithm, which is this mysterious. I've yet to meet one person that can tell me a definite answer on for example, when's the best time of day to make a post? People speculate, but there's no real definite if you post at this time, you're going to reach this many people. It's all a mystery, and it depends on way too many factors. So moral of the story is, it makes sense that if you can build a good quality email list, notice that emphasis on the word quality, not quantity, the chances of you actually reaching the people who want to hear what you have to say are so much higher than, just a bunch of followers on Instagram. I always, when I teach this, I ask people okay, if you have 1 million followers on Instagram and you make a post, how many people are going to see it? You don't know, right? It's a mystery. But if you have 1,000 people who have subscribed to your email list and you send an email, how many people are going to see it? Moral of the story is, even though most people might not open it, more people will see it. So I'll just land there. Thank you for highlighting that, because I think that's a really interesting stat.
You're welcome. Thank you for bringing it up, and thank you, Trisha, as well for highlighting that too. Because, you look at the statistics on where that comparison is, it's literally a landslide. And if we think about the amount of time we spend in our inboxes and we spend on social media, it's different. And then people may say, oh, that's because baby boomers or Gen X or Gen Z or millennials, there's always going to be something, or Gen Alpha did this. But at the end of the day, everything is still circulated around email. For you to even be on Clubhouse, you need an email account. For you to be on any social platform, which is pull marketing, you need to be having an email. Like Trustpilot, for example, you can't sign up with a business account or their business account without a business email. You can't put @gmail.com or mybusiness@gmail.com. It won't work, because it's gotta be your workspace email, your business email. So there are some websites that they won't even allow you to sign in with a general email, because you need a work email to work on that platform. It's that serious. So if you look at email marketing, thank you for the thumbs up, Trisha, that says a lot about your communication. And a lot of people do digital marketing, but they forget email marketing as one of the components and totally ignore that, because they're posting on social media expecting to get results. And yeah, you can use automation with ManyChat and all the good stuff. But if those operations are not tracked and you're not using analytics and your SEO is not technically sound and savvy, at some point it's going to crash. And if Instagram goes off today or something happens tomorrow and you can't access your login, then that's a problem, because now you're going to be looking for your audience that you once had. So that's second party data acquisition. You don't own it, but you control it. That's your Facebook, that's your Instagram, that's your LinkedIn, that's your TikTok. That's where it is. I mean, think about it. YouTube is in first party data. I can call YouTube first party data. Why? Because YouTube is like Google, right? Because Google owns YouTube, right? So if Google owns YouTube and YouTube is a search engine, Pinterest is a search engine, and Google is a search engine, tell me why you can't download. I mean, some places you can, like LinkedIn, you can download PDFs, they even give you a disclaimer, but just a general image. Let's say Instagram versus YouTube. Let's just do that, real for real. There's no way, and we can debate on this, let's talk about it, to tell you how important your proprietary information is. If you look at Instagram and YouTube, let's say you have a 30-second reel, or let's say a 30-second video. You upload that video on Instagram, you upload that same video on YouTube. After you upload and publish that video, which platform will you be able to download that video in your dashboard, and which one can't you download from your dashboard? Internally, natively. Can someone answer? Which platform can you download the video you uploaded to the platform, and which one can't you download from the platform you uploaded to?
Most
Go
of
ahead.
them allowed you to download, don't it?
Sorry?
Mark, that's what you're talking about, right? If you upload, edit a video through TikTok, it allows you to download it, and you can use it on different platforms.
That's a third party platform. That's third party. So we're already on the second and the first party. Third party platforms would be like your TikTok Saver, there are platforms like, I think, like MediaMister.com. There are platforms that you can download YouTube from, videos. You can download Instagram videos from Reels. You can download those platforms. Yes, those are available. It's possible. But natively, you don't have to go outside. It's like saying, if I want to get coffee, I just got to go to my kitchen and get the coffee, and there's my coffee. I don't have to go outside and drive all the way to Starbucks to get my coffee for the same coffee I would have had at home. So what I'm saying is, when it comes to acquisition, what do you have control of? What do you have ownership of, right? So if you have Instagram and you have YouTube, and you've published the same video on these two platforms, and you go to the dashboard of both of these platforms, which one will you be able to download the video from, and which one won't you be able to download the video from internally, natively? Go to Instagram dashboard, go to YouTube Studio dashboard. Which one will you be able to download? Which one won't you be able to download? That's the question. And Steph is saying, there's a trick I've been using for years that helps a lot. Okay, so here's the answer to this question. On Instagram, you cannot download a video or a reel that you uploaded. Once you uploaded it, that's it. Because you're actually using Instagram most of the time on your mobile device. Most times you're using YouTube dashboard or studio on your desktop. But that's neither here nor there. On YouTube Studio, you can download your video. So even if you uploaded a video on YouTube, you can go to your dashboard and download the video that you uploaded to YouTube. That's why people go to YouTube to store content. That's why people go to Pinterest to store content, because on Pinterest, you can download the image. You can't download an image on Instagram, but you can download an image on Pinterest. On YouTube, you can't download it from the server side, which is the receiver side, but you can download it from the client side, which is the producer side, like riverside.com for podcasts. You can host there, great, cool, but you still have ownership because you can download that audio anytime you need to download a copy. So this is what I'm saying. The pull and the push marketing is so important, because if we don't think about these things, we'll be contenting aimlessly. Let me say it that way, because it won't be a benefit. It will now be a drag and drop, literally, because we'll be dragging content, dropping it on social media, dragging content, dropping it on platforms. Before you know it, you've dragged the whole content floor. So if you think about it long term, your business, your goal, your objective should be, how can we take this to the next level and we can do more pulling? Because if somebody is pulling and they let you pull through, that's a good thing, because it means that if 3 months ago you were 60 miles away from me in conversation, and then 6 months later we're 2 miles away in conversation. In other words, we don't have to spend that amount of time to connect with each other. If it takes you 2 hours to get to 60 miles and it takes you 3 minutes to get you to 2 miles, that's the amount of time we have in connection, because it takes us a shorter time to connect than before. So that pull is at a shorter stretch as opposed to before. So if you're using YouTube and you're creating content for people, you want it to be in a way that people can actually enjoy your content and actually connect with you, so that you're able to use it not just for making content's sake, but you're actually targeting the right audience. That's why even LinkedIn is great with audience targeting. It tells you, are they founders, seniors? Is it 10 to 50? Is it 1 to 10? What is the category? What's the interest? You can see all those things there, because it tells you this is the type of people that actually want to connect with you. So if you're giving them content that they're coming for and they actually enjoy the content that they see, they'll want to see you more and want to see you more in the suggested feed. So that's pulling, because you're pulling more. The more episodes you have, the more videos you have, the more content you have, the more blogs you have, the more quality you have, the more emails you have, the higher it gets. So your open rates become more, your click rates become more, your click-through rates become more, your unsubscribe rates go low. If you have an unsubscribe rate of over 0.3%, that's a problem. So you have to think about that as against your email volume, as against your email cadence, as against your content flow. How are you able to take that from point A to B? So there's so many things to consider. So when you think about pull versus push marketing, or push marketing versus pull marketing, both of them are great. They do well, but I would say pull marketing first before pushing, because before you tell someone to push, they would have to have been pulled to that point to push that button. If there's a button that's 2 miles ahead from you, you have to walk there. You have to drive there. You have to scooter there. You have to cycle there. You have to move from here to there before you push that button. So before you get there, you've been pulled to do that. So that pulling is still going to happen through a push. Yeah, because by this now, you're still going to be pulled to that, but it's going to be a shorter time cycle. It's a shorter sales cycle with pull. Let me say this better. Let me just say this differently. With push marketing, which is outbound marketing, you have a longer time to actually connect with people, because you have a higher traffic volume to accomplish, which actually makes your focus very short. And because it's very short, people are buying it very high up in speed. That's why YouTube and Pinterest are great for that, because even Google Shopping is there too. If you look at a product, I want to get butter, I want to get a bicycle, all those things that you're looking at are going to give you price ranges, right? It's going to give you $1 sign or $2 signs. So those dollar signs tell you how people are shopping, or under $75 or under $25. So you, the person that's going to that same product line to put your product on the same product line, should also think about, okay, if these people are already buying this product at this price, how can my product show up like this on this same platform without me having to feel like it's a push. Because push marketing is content that you're able to now give people consistently at a shorter time because you're running Google ads, you're running YouTube ads, you're running ads on TV, on Netflix. It's pushing something, right? Because every month something is happening. Now, if it's pulling, it means that I needed this last week, I needed it this week. Okay, maybe in 2 weeks from now, I might need it. And it's something that you know that's consistently in need. That pull marketing is where you have nurturing. You have blogs. Okay, let's define this problem. Okay, what are the solutions? Okay, what are the case studies? Okay, what are the testimonials? And that's what keeps growing over time. So the more we're able to really look at it from a long-term perspective and do more long-term pull marketing, we'll have shorter sales cycles over time than as opposed to looking for short sales cycles now and doing the long term later when you've not been able to build the trust enough by the algorithm and also by brand online. So look at it from those two different angles and it will definitely change everything. So email marketing is important in 2026. AI is important in 2026. 25% of American adults are going to be using AI by 2027. It's going to be 90. I saw the research by Statista. It's about 90 million American adults are going to be using AI by the end of 2027. 90. And in 2023, it was 13 million. So about 25% of the US population, if you think about the long-term effect of this, whether it's kids using AI, adults using AI, and you're looking at how it was before and how it is now, if your content is not seen on those platforms, you're not on Google, you're not on Microsoft, you're not on Apple, you're not on different platforms that are actually being used for search, and your website is, you're still, having your website. Yes, it's on Wix, it's on Squarespace, it's on WordPress, but they're not connected back to your site. It's going to be a long, hard, stressful way of reconnecting back because there's going to be so much information because there's something called last modified. Last modified. What is last modified? We all have it on our computers. If you go to your computer and let's say you opened a folder, let's say you call this folder sports. Now you call this folder sports April 1st, 2025 at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for example. Now that's what it was last modified. So by the time you go back to that folder, let's say April 10th, 3:28 p.m. Central, which would be 4:28 p.m. Eastern, you've modified that sports page. So that last modify that you've just done for the last period of years from the updated version or the published version to the updated version has a timeline. So that timeline is where you're now pulling more traffic back. Because when you start creating content like this and you say, okay, in 2026, I'm going to create X number of posts. That means by 2027, I won't have to create the same number of posts. Why? Because by this time next year, people will be looking for the same thing as this year, next year. When it's Black Friday this year, whatever people were looking for last Black Friday will be looking for the same thing this Black Friday. They may be looking for other things, but if you plan ahead of time, and you've talked about everything that is about your business, then you don't have to keep saying the same thing for the same attention. Now you can spend money on running ads, on going on digital billboards, on podcast guesting, on features. Because when people start searching for your name, you have enough resources on your website, even in your capacity to build retention. Because people just don't think you have one social media account. You have other content that people can actually refer back to. That comes back to your business. So it takes time, but it's worth the time and it's also worth the capacity if you think about the long-term effect of what you're creating for people, especially with target audiences, because they're always going to change. But if the maintenance is actually based on your primary, your secondary, and your tertiary audience, you're always going to be on the green side. But there's always going to be a shift, but always know that the more you're able to test and know your audience better, get to know what they like for breakfast, what they like for lunch, what they like for dinner. You'll be surprised. those little things go a long way. You're talking to people, you're not talking at people. So I would love to, hear your feedback on this as well. So thank you for being here, Shara. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this too. What's your thought on content and target marketing? What do you see? What do you see in your world? Thank you, Jasmine.
A lot of noise. At least in my niche. I love what you said because you basically summed up what my story was. I don't use ads. I never have. Everything's been organic up to this point. You've talked a lot about not needing to do the same push before, and that's where I'm at in my business. The first couple of years, it was about just generating content that focused on the pain points of my audience. Last year was the first time that I was never not consistent on any of my 8 platforms. I haven't been consistent. It's been almost a year, but I was still able to do pretty well because the content that I put out over the years remained consistent. I don't need to do the same type of push that I did when I first started. 5 years in, I have a podcast. I have established audience on different platforms, but it wasn't easy to do that either. I mean, that was before AI came along and people are able to do video scripts and things like that. I was writing the content and putting it out day to day on several platforms at once, and that was before I even had a Hootsuite or a platform to automatically post. That took a lot of work to do, but when you're first starting out, you do what you have to get your content out there. What I found in my journey is that the more consistent I was, and when I needed to take a break, the community was still there. Because I was consistent over time, day in and day out. And I can't lie, I did burn out for a little bit doing that. But out of 5 years now, I've cornered my market that people come to me automatically because of the consistency over the years. Compared to my other competitors in my particular world, people know me because of the time of them seeing me over time. I've had people reach out to me. So I think the long-term game of putting out content is continuing to experiment, but keeping your eye open out for market changes as they happen. That has helped me in more than one way. I still do consults with my colleagues, even though I don't have to. I'm in the exam licensing world. So I help people pass their board exams, especially social workers, because I was one that struggled with that. I started out with my own story, and now at 5 years, my podcast with the testimonies, my content speaks for itself that lives on YouTube. I haven't posted maybe close to a year, but the content never goes away. It lives there. People can go look it up. The only place I actually go live at is TikTok Live, which is a funneling system for me. I used to use Clubhouse for that many years ago, Favour, you know that. And now that every time I go live for 20 minutes, not even less than that, all 8 of my platforms double down in views because people know that when she comes on, she teaches, but she doesn't teach everything. So let me go look at her other channels. That was a well-deserved visibility that I didn't pay for, but I paid for it in terms of consistency and time that I put in the beginning. A lot of people will just, I've seen put out content, but they forget that their content are also living billboards. They are living pieces of you that you can reel people into, which for me is why I never had to use paid ads. Now I can, but I wasn't at a stage business that I wanted to take that type of value on at the time. I can now. I couldn't back then. So doing consultations, I would take notes and record some of those consultations. They would turn into email content marketing. And a lot of my colleagues felt like I was talking to them, not knowing I've had 30, 40 social workers having the same pain points. And that's, I think for me, how maybe we've been able to have longevity, even though I'm not as visibly putting out content the way I was before, because I don't need to. People know that I'm a trusted brand when it comes to social work and exam coaching because they've seen that work over time constantly in their face. And now, even though, yes, I could push hard, I don't need to. I have enough referrals and bookings that speaks to that consistency. So don't ever think that you being consistent, that long-term gain, that no one sees your content, keep going. keep doing it, keep refining it, keep doing market research, because even in your target market, it changes. The pain points change, the economy changes, people's concerns changes. You want to be attuned to that. So when your content, when you put it out there, it's speaking directly to where they are. Some people forget that even when they get to a certain point, that keeping an eye open to the market, however you do that, is just as important as putting out the content itself. So I said it's mouthful, Favor, and I fell off track. So I'm handing the mic back to you.
Oh, this is important. Thank you, Shara. Very important. Like the content that you've done before, you don't have to do it again because you've done it once, and all you're doing is letting the same people know, or the people that didn't know it last time, to see the information for the first time. And most times we think that our content is old when it's new to people and it's old to us. And when we can just think about that and let us take our time in understanding that the people that actually find our content for the first time haven't ever seen it before. So when they see it for the first time, then that's allowing them to connect deeper with you. And if you have more content like that, that's when they stay. Imagine having 2 episodes a year or 2 articles a year. It's going to be hard to retain that traffic because there are 52 weeks in a year. So those number of years play a role in how it actually plays into when they come back. Because if you think about when you post content, it's not just going to go viral tomorrow. Your content may go viral in 9 months. Your episode could go viral in 2 weeks because something was said a week ago, or it might be said later, and then that becomes a referral because you place it correctly. So that timing is important, and your target base audience is so important too. If you really think about your audience and your target marketing, it will change everything. It will change everything about your show. It will change everything about your website, and will also allow you to be more specific in how you also deliver content for people when they're also connecting with you long term. So it's something I'm going to share with you so that you can also see for yourself, but also look at it from that perspective and say, okay, hey, if we have content today, can we talk about something now that next year we just have to update? And if we have to push it forward, at least we know that in that month that we did it for the first time, we had 30 days to nest, which means we're able to multiply this, compound the interest, go back and retarget. A lot of businesses don't retarget. They don't do a lot of retargeting, whether organically or paid wise, because people think retargeting is just paid wise. It can also be organic. The same way they found you organically is the same way you can retarget them organically. But we don't think about organic targeting or retargeting because we just think, okay, we have a target audience and there they are. Yet there's so many pain points and sets that you have to go through to understand exactly what they're coming for and why they're even there to begin with. So I love that you mentioned that, Shara. Thank you for being here. John, we'd love to hear from you too.
Good morning, or I should say, correct that. Good afternoon, everyone. And before I get too far along, I got to give big shout out, big thanks to Dr. Fashion, who's above me. And this is a great idea when it goes to conversation. So, without going into a lot of details, I have grown my YouTube channel by 2,100 subscribers in less than 3 weeks. Actually, about 2 weeks. And using ChatGPT and a few other things. So it's really paying off big time. And the good part about it is free, and you can do some paid marketing as well. But Dr. Fashion, thank you so very much. You've been awesome.
You're welcome. Thanks for the shout out.
Big moves here. Dr. Fashion, I would love to ask you this question too. And thank you for all that you do for the community, for Creator Life. Shout out to Creator Life. When you look at content, especially in your niche with YouTube, and I know we talked about this recently about courses. And I would love for people to hear it from you because, you're the queen of YouTube, and I want people to hear what your perspective and your thoughts are when you compare it to playlists and podcasts, because people are like, okay, what do I do with this? What do I do with that? let people know based on content that they produce, how can they maximize their time by giving people engaging content to stay active with?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Just checking. Okay, cool. Yeah, so one thing I love about YouTube is there's so many variations of formats that you can do, and it doesn't have to be like a regular video. One thing that they introduced recently is courses. It's been there for a few years, but now you're able to add attachments. So courses is anything where you're teaching someone something and educating them on a particular topic. You can add any of your old or new videos in that section. This is really great because it helps you increase your discoverability across the platform. So it's kind of similar to podcasts, where if you add your videos to the podcast section, you are now being shown on the regular YouTube feed, but then you're also being added to the YouTube tab for podcasts and or courses. So it's pretty cool. And some of my ideas for entrepreneurs in this room is like, if you have an ebook, you can add that as an attachment. You can sell things. You can add exclusive coupon codes or guides. You can do a whole bunch of things in that section that will allow you to either make more money or increase your newsletter, whatever the goals are. But in regards to the playlist, this is very helpful because there's different types of playlists on YouTube. And they all work a little bit differently, but it's very helpful to kind of organize your content in a way that makes it helpful for your viewers. But once again, if you go on the YouTube studio, you'll be able to see it. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. But Favour, I don't even know if I answered your question.
You did. You did. That was spot on, actually.
No, you gotta make sure you give her one of those sound effects, Favor, because I barely get a chance to hear Dr. Fashion voice. So when I hear, I always there you go, there you go, there you go.
Oh my goodness. I love it.
Yeah, Dr. Fashion, she doesn't talk a lot. So, but when she does, I'm happy you're here, and I appreciate you for getting people to know about this because it's important. I remember seeing courses, when it first came out, and I was like, okay, this is gonna grow. This is gonna grow. And when I heard you talk about it when it dropped, I said, okay, bet. And now it's time to unlock this side of YouTube, because when you think about podcasts, audiobooks, animations, cartoons, name it, everything is there. And if you're able to capture anywhere between 10 to 42% of content, either on the weekdays or weekends, you can definitely have some good audience retention. So I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I think this is going to open up a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurs, especially if you have a workshop, whether it's in person or online. And it could just be a great source to funnel people to something else. I'm really big on not keeping people on the social media platform that they found me on, because we know how that can go. It could be here today, gone tomorrow, and I don't got time for that. So I like to funnel people to my website so that I can get that data, phone numbers, email addresses, the whole nine. And it just kind of giving you another way to think about how you're operating your business if you're not already doing that.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's a game changer because you now have the ability to give people workbooks or ebooks, or go a little bit deeper into understanding how you can connect with them at a larger scale. And that way the engagement is even higher because people are using their time, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, to watch, to listen, to connect. And it changes the same way, you mentioned it too. It's like when people are using these platforms, what are they doing while on these platforms? And if you're able to know what they're doing, then it's easier for you to create content better, because your audience is a response to how you send information. An audience is a response to how you send information. So if you know what professional industry they're in, if you know what their family status is, if you know what their living environment is, if you know what their psychographic profiles are, what their content habits are, what their preferred formats are, what their listening contexts are. Those are very intricate things that your target audience can't just be blanketed and said, oh, it's between 25 and 35. That's men that love cookies. It can't be that generic because it's not going to be able to hit home. But if you're able to know exactly what happens when they decide to do some different things, then it tells you more about where you can actually connect with them. You know, you think about tech adoption, you think about brand loyalty, you think about engagement, purchasing power, price sensitivity. You know, these are all different things to think about when you have content, right? If you think about your target audience, are they married with kids? Are they married with no kids? Are they single with no kids? Are they a single parent? Are they empty nesters? Those are very specific questions. When you think about target audience, where are they? Is it male? Is it female? You know, when you think about the specification of where they are based on the age from 18 through 65 plus, is going to tell you a lot about where your audience is and where your audience could be. So the more you're able to know how your audience is coming up and where it's coming from, it's because of the information that you've acquired over time. And that takes time to build, because when people are responding back to you and you're also responding back to them, there's a connection within the signals. So the more content you create, the less you'd have to keep creating over time. Because if I said this around this time last year and I said it again this year, now I have 2 episodes as opposed to 1. Because it took 12 months for this one to mature. Now I have one that's 12 months mature and I have another one I can support, which is going to speed as a catalyst the one that I just did previously. Because people are going to always go back to what you said before they heard what you said for the first time. So when you think about that psychology and then you break it down to how they consume your content, it's different. Like my podcast, I mentioned it earlier. 90% of the time, people are working when they're listening to my podcast. We don't play podcast.com. They are working 90% of the time. 75% of the time, they're commuting. 85% of the time, they're professional development. That's where they are. They're probably doing something active as well. Or 55% when they're exercising, because there's music in the background. There's a flow. There's a way people can also interconnect with themselves and also hear things and also write down concepts, understand things, and then take it forward. There's a client we're working with, and she told me recently that there's an episode we did about Kangen water back in 2022, 3, 4, around one of those 3 years. It's probably closer to 4 than 3. And it was about Kangen water because she's a professional when it comes to water and hydration and the cleanliness of water and exactly how water actually plays a big role into your livelihood. And she was telling me that she's about 25 minutes into that episode. And that was an episode that I did years ago, and we're in 2026. So imagine me having to create an episode about what I said then again, because I didn't have it stored then. And I have to say it again now because it's as important as it was then as it is now, even more, because those are years ago. Now we're years in and we can't even track back. But if we can say, oh, okay, in this last number of years, this is the number of people who have been looking for this information. Okay, so if people have been listening to this episode and they live in this side, or they actually on this side, it means that what are the things that they can do on those side of towns that we can access, they have access to. I'll give you an example. Let's say we're talking about water. And like for me, this is something, I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but when it comes to water, there's an app called Oasis. I'm going to talk about it very soon. And I don't have any affiliate links or anything. I'm just giving you guys information that I have acquired, and it's helped a lot of people when I mention it to them. And they're like, oh, okay. So for $47 a year, right, you can go to your app store and you can download this app called Oasis. It's changed my life. When it comes to microplastics, when it comes to water, when it comes to intake, baby food, pet food, when it comes to laundry detergent, lotion, all these things that we buy in the stores, we don't know what's in them, right? Because we just buy them because we're used to buying them. So this app, Oasis, has changed my life because I started off with the HTO Score app, and then I found something even more, I would say more in depth, because I like things to be robust so that I can be able to really understand the advanced way of doing things. So I was able to pick it up and I realized, ooh, this is good. So the Oasis app literally was able to give me the different things. And you can even write down in the chat, what water do you drink? And I'll tell you exactly what the scores are. So it tells you what the scores are and it's backed up by information. And I was able to learn about different waters. And of course, I learned about this water before and I was like, this is very interesting. Icelandic water. And I learned about it years ago, but now it's becoming more and more, I would say, popular, because I at some point it actually got sold out at some point. It's a lot, but when you think about the water you're drinking, the water you're showering with, the water filters, all these different things, it plays a big role into how you understand what you're going to be paying for or investing in when you think about what you're putting into your body. Now, that's one total big angle that's different from anything else. But when you're looking for things that you want to buy, I'm just giving you guys a place that I go to so that you can also check it out for yourself and see, because health is wealth. And when we talk about these things, we talk about marketing, right? I don't have to tell you, download this app now. That's push marketing. Hey, download this app now and get 50% off. I'm not pushing you to that app. Pulling now is telling you, hey, this app is going to tell you this, is going to tell you this. So you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay, cool. Maybe I need to understand that. Okay, let me try the free trial. I'm actually going to put the link in the chat so that you can get this and see, because I know within apps could be very different. Boom, there you go. So the link is in the chat. So that's the link, Oasis. And it changes everything. You can be able to see water filters, your electrolytes, even eggs that you buy. If you like eggs, deodorants, toothpaste, candles, cookware. It tells you everything about what are the things that have microplastics, what are the good products, what are not so good products. If you shop at Costco or Walmart or Target or Publix, Kroger, wherever you shop at, you'll be able to see these things and you'll be able to identify and say, okay, I can see this, you can scan it. So I'm giving you this information because you're able to try these things out on your own and see. It's marketing. You didn't have to ask me, but target audience tells me, okay, people care about their health. They're working, they're exercising. So I know, okay, if they're exercising, they're not just exercising so they can look good. They also have to feel good and they also have to be good. So that means if they care about their weight, they care about their intake, they care about their diet, then they definitely care about what they put on their skin. They care about what they do on a daily basis. Like even my detergent, I used to use Tide soap, the Tide Pods. I just changed. I use another one called Zoom now, SZUM, and they have one that is like sea salt. It's so good. And you can be able to check it out and see it for yourself. Any brand, any product that you're talking about, it's there. Because when you wear your clothes, either it's cotton or it's linen, whatever fabric your clothes are, silk, leather, whatever it is, it's a material. And our bodies are electromagnetic, right? When you think about hertz, we listen to voice in hertz from 20 hertz to, 200 hertz or plus that. When you think about the number of hertz you're listening to, or is it 20,000? When you think about the hertz that you're listening to by the pitch, it's also playing a big role into how you're receiving those signals. So marketing, guerrilla marketing, whether you're going to be walking on the street and then you see a signpost or you see a bell, or you're online and you start seeing a banner, those are different things that you get to see with marketing. So your audience is going to respond back to these things. You may not like what somebody else likes, but that's what you like, and you like what you like. But when you don't know about these things, you're like, oh, okay, things will change, right? When you think about, even when your toothpaste, if you look at your toothpaste, this is what I've been doing for years now. If you look at your toothpaste at the back, it should be a green stripe. If it's not green, it's not good, because you can do your research. There's red, there's black, there's blue. The other colors, green is important to have because it's natural based. And that's what I've been using for years. Hydroxyapatite toothpaste. That's important because of your dental. So I'm giving you guys information that you didn't even ask for, but I know if you hear this, you'll be like, huh, okay, let me actually check and see what this is all about. And thank you so much, for that as well, Jasmine, for the fire with the Oasis and the love, Dr. Fashion. It's important to look at these things and try them out yourself. Don't be stuck to, oh, this is all I know. The more you know, the more you don't know. So just stay learning, stay in active mode. So these are the things that I'm learning and I'm doing, and I'm learning and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tell you guys about this, and if you change your lifestyle and things change better because you drink better water and you're more hydrated than before, that's good, right? So think about these things and ask yourself, what do you like to be marketed to? I like good products. I like to give good products. I like to share good products. I like to experience good products, and I like experienced products to be done in a way that if that's how I'm feeling, I would like you to feel the same way, because I want you to feel the same way I'm feeling, because I feel good. So should you. So look at it from that perspective, and your target audience will always keep coming back to you. Now, I'd like to ask the question to the room, Celeste, Dr. Fashion, Shara, or John. When did you first realize what your target audience needed from you? And what was that aha moment for you? What did that look like?
I'll jump in very quickly because I don't sell something. What my target audience needs more than anything, and number one, my primary customer is radio stations. Their needs are totally different than the consumer. But for consumers' needs, my target audience, they need to be entertained. If I can't get their attention with radio, podcast, social media, it doesn't matter. So I've got to get their attention first and foremost to get them to consume my product. So entertainment's huge.
I love that. Yes, that attention has to, turn to retention. It reminds me of websites, because there are two types of website visitors. You have new visitors and you have returning visitors. They're always going to be visitors, but the amount of time they spend is like if you have a friend at your place, if you have family at your place, they're going to be there for the weekend, for the month, compared to somebody who's coming to fix your doorknob or going to fix your plumbing machine or fix your AC for 30 minutes or 2 hours. So that is a completely different timeline. It's the same location, different timeline, but that attention and retention is important. So that's new visitors, returning visitors. If I have a blog that is really good, that I'm like teaching somebody how to do this, and it's a guide and it's taking them 10 minutes to go through the checklist, it might take them 50 minutes to apply it over 50 days in the week. Maybe let's say 50 weeks out in the year. If we have 52 weeks and they have 1 week to spend these 2 hours to just learn this one thing. Think about people who have classes, who have structure. Okay, I have to have 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. to do this one thing. And they do that one thing every week throughout the year. And they're using your content for that. And imagine they keep coming back. That's a returning visitor. Someone may get that in 1 week or 2 weeks and then end up not coming back till later. That's fine too. But you've been able to achieve the goal because everyone learns at a different pace. So if you're able to do that and give people content, always that audience attention will always turn into audience retention. Thank you for that, John. Shara, Celeste, Dr. Fashion, what was your aha moment when you realized your target audience was in need of something that you've been creating?
I would say for me, it wasn't one thing. I think it was the pattern that I discovered over time. I know there were 3 things that started happening at the same time. One was that I kept seeing the same mistakes over and over again from dozens of my students. And that shifted my delivery system to them, that they had a thinking problem, not necessarily needing more content to push down their throats. So I started teaching them how to make decisions under pressure, which they can relate that to any part of their life, not just their licensing professional exams. So I went from that my audience doesn't need more information, they need to think like the exam. And because I was able to track those mistakes, my approach was refined over time, in real time. And it was something that became evidence, not something that was an assumption. So refining those results over time and pouring gasoline on what worked. That consistency for me, I'm sorry, you may hear an 11-year-old in the background screaming to his friends. That consistency over time showed my audience that I could be trusted. Beyond any other exam licensing provider that they went to, the trust factor, likability factor, the simplicity factor of me helping them simplify things that were usually talked about over their heads compared to other people, kind of help put them at ease. So again, it was results over time, being consistent with that result, and cultivating community. A very important part of how I got started, and it still rings true. I don't hold an active community on Clubhouse anymore, but I have pots of those different communities on different platforms, and they feed each other. So I got to pop out for a consult that just came up just now, but hopefully it gives you a little bit favor.
It did. Thank you, Shara. That was perfect timing. Yes, there's so much that you said that, it's so important to look at the points when people spend time with you, because those 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 weeks, 2 months that they spend with you are precious. Because like now, you see Shara's on a call. It's very important. The timing of everything is very important, because you have clients that work with you in the daytime, nighttime, evening time, lunchtime. So all these intricate parts are so important that if you're not able to be flexible, it's hard for you to have a better sales cycle, even as a business, because some businesses have short sales cycles, some have long sales cycles, but each of them depend on how you're able to create it, for yourself. I'll just give you an example. This is what I do as well, and I hope you also try this as well for yourself. Even when you're working with clients and you're working with businesses, if you really think about the time, we have 13 months in a year. We don't have 12 months in a year. It's 12 months calendar-wise, Gregorian calendar-wise, but it's actually 13 months. Because if you divide 52 divided by 13, you're going to get 4. So if you think about 4 weeks in increments, that's why I always say, how many weeks does it take to rank on social media or Google or search engines or this or that? There are weeks. I never say months, because those months could be 0.5. It could be less than 2 weeks. It could be half a week. But when you talk about weeks in sequences, then everything changes, because now when people are searching for this type of content, it's very specific on how you're able to bring that in. Welcome, Chama. So you think about your business long term when you're creating content for people that need your information today, so that when they bookmark your email, when they bookmark your post, when they bookmark your podcast, it's because there's a save that was driven because of an interest that was received. So your audience is so important, because when people are able to connect with you at a larger scale, then you're able to have better communication with them, because it's no longer push. Because push marketing is buy now, 50% off, 50% off, 50% off. And you're literally blasting emails to people. Yes, you have all these contacts, but if you ask a question to them and no one responds, then was the problem the question, or the problem was the audience, or both? So when you look at it from pull marketing and push marketing, because you have outbound emails, you have inbound emails, right? But if you have inbound emails and people are actually wanting to receive your emails because they signed up because they wanted to see this, then they'll stay because they feel like you're the person that is going to tell them what they need to hear, what they need to know. And if you put it in a way that people can actually access it, it's even better. Because sometimes people get stuck with trying to figure out, where do you put your content? Where do you put your content? There are places you can go on LinkedIn. You can go on YouTube. You can go on Pinterest. You can start with your website. Of course, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's Facebook. But when I think about longevity, I would use those platforms for paid advertising, but I'll be sending them to my organic, my first party data, which would be my website, my podcast, my platform. So that's very important to think about. So I love that Shara mentioned that. And thank you as well, John, for mentioning that too. Celeste or Dr. Fashion, what would you say too about your aha moment when you figured out your target audience was in need of what you were talking about?
I'll chime in, and I'm driving, so I hope, can you hear me okay? Okay, perf. So just for context, I mostly teach artists, like people in the artist creative space, how to scale the business side of what they do. And for me, my aha moment kind of like two-part, but the main thing is just kind of seeing the same problem come up over and over and over. And I know they say the best products and services solve problems. So once I saw like the same problem, I was like, oh, this is something that this particular niche really needs. The other side, which no shade, but I kept seeing people kind of give bad business advice. And I was like, and not to like brag, but as someone who has scaled a creative business to over six figures, I'm like, well, I got boots on the ground. Like I know exactly how to basically fix this problem. So those two things kind of were my aha moment. And then, once I kind of zoned in on problem solving, when I do like classes, when I do lives, when I just give general advice, I'm always focusing on, that particular problem. And that has really helped me kind of be really good at, what I'm doing right now. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Great question, Favour.
Thank you, Celeste. I love that answer too. Yeah, it's definitely that repeat. When you keep saying the same thing over and over and over, you're like, yeah, that's what it is. Because it actually even plays the same thing when it comes to queries, your Google Search Console, and what people are looking for. Just in this year alone, we're in April, there are two major queries that people have been asking for help on: technical SEO and local SEO. And this is courses or trainings or workshops. And I'm like, okay, there's a problem going on. And I see it in our clients. We're fixing millions of pages, close to 3 million pages to about 30 million pages on Google, on search consoles that are broken, that are not working, and they've been in business for 50 years, and you wonder what's the problem, and they can't figure it out. But we take 6 months and we grind it out and we make sure, okay, understand everything that's moving, and we figured out there were broken loops, there were broken pages, there were broken links, there were broken tags. How do you fix those tags? Where do you even know where it's tagging from where? Is it the front door, the back door? So there's so many things that you fix, but you don't know what's wrong until you actually see the problem. So like you said, when people start realizing, oh, there's a problem, I'm like, okay, if we're fixing it on this type of website, how many other websites like this have the same problem that they don't even know they have a problem on? Some websites don't even know that they're blocking themselves from the servers, because when you put, for example, Yoast SEO on your WordPress site, you have a default code that is already blocking your Yoast from actually getting maximum capacity. You may not even realize that because they won't tell you. On Wix, there's a no index tag that has been turned on in the settings by default, and I see that every time with every Wix account, and I'm just like, wow. So whenever we start, that's the first place I go, because it's like driving out of the garage, or driving out of the driveway, or coming out of the driveway and now taking off and you're on the highway and you realize that you had a flat tire halfway. You wouldn't drive that car because you know that you got to fix the tire first before you drive the car. So it's the same thing with your website. You can't just publish your content out there and there's a broken link. It's going to be hard. People won't even trust the link anymore because they're like, wow, there's a 404 error. And then you'll be like, oh, wait, give me a second, let me reload. Or you send an email and there's a typo. Or you send an email and the link is broken. It's bad. And it gives rookie, and you don't want to give that, especially if you're a professional. So that's why I always say test your emails, get to ask questions, let people ask you. The more questions you can answer before you ask somebody or give somebody a solution, then that way you've been able to understand the concept and prove it through as well. And Sandeep says as well in the chat, full structure of sales page: hook, problem, amplify pain, introduce solutions, show mechanism, show proof, present offer, stack value, add bonuses, add scarcity, add guarantee, and call to action and close. Yeah, you can always test these things, and that's definitely one way to look at it too. So your goal is to build out, what do people want? How do they want it? How are they receiving it? And how are you testing it? We have a client right now on Pinterest. They're averaging at least 1 million monthly views on Pinterest, and they're averaging about $40,000 a week in sales. And they're just running. Like literally, we just said, okay, we're going to just let this thing run, and we're going to come back in about 2 months to continue working together. So now literally it's just a well-oiled machine. And they have 4 locations in two cities or 2 states, Nevada and California. So you think about it and you're like, okay, they have a 5th one they're about to open up too. And they're building online. Thank you for the fire. Appreciate you, Jasmine. So you have these companies that are building, and when we started with them, they had less than about 10,000 monthly viewers on Pinterest. And that was 6 months ago. Now they're at 1 million. God knows what's going to happen when it's December, if they're already averaging now. And they said that their sales cycle started in April because they sell tools. It's like a Hobby Lobby. They sell tools. So these are tools like after the snow, now it's springtime, it's summertime, it's fall season. This is their high peak season, and they started making sales before the high peak started. And I asked them, did this happen last year? No. Why? Because there were some things that were placed this year that from this time next year, they'll keep reaping those benefits because it's something that's going to give them long-term value. SEO is not a payment you make on investment that is just going to affect today. It's literally like planting a tree with a seed in the ground that you know for the next 10, 20, 30 years, you know that you're going to have generations and generations that are going to benefit. It's like an index fund, let me put it that way, especially if you do it the correct way. If you do quality, great. If you do structure, great. Because right now, when you think about your content, it's very important for people to see your content. And that content is not just about how fast it loads, but how well it loads and how well people stay. So think about these things as a business owner and ask yourself, how does it happen? It takes a while. There's another company that were literally tanking like the Titanic. Their traffic was going down because there was something they didn't fix. And I was telling them, you guys need to fix this. And they were like, okay. And then I sent them a screenshot and I was like, hey guys, if you don't fix this thing, it's going to hit 0. And all the things that we've built in the last 3 months is going down. And I don't want that. So some people will be like, oh yeah, just let them have it. You already got your investment. I'm like, no, that's my name on the line. I can't let that happen on my watch. That's why I still have access to your dashboard. So I was like, hey, fix this. They fixed it. Now they literally did a U-turn and now they're going all the way back up. Thank you, Jasmine. So it's very important to look at these things because clients are not looking at these things. They'll get messages, oh, this thing is blocked. They don't know what to do. What do you tell them? Oh, it's blocked because they want it fixed. They want a solution. That's why you're there. So if you don't know how to fix it, it's a problem. Another client, they had traffic issues. They were going down in traffic. Come to find out that their whole tags was linked back to Shopify. All their tags were linked to Instagram.com or Shopify, Facebook.com or Shopify. And that was one of many other problems that were fixed. So it's like you're walking into a house, you don't know what to expect, and you're going to fix this wardrobe, you're going to, change this closet. It's a lot of information, a lot of detail. If you're going to paint the wall, you're going to paint, it's going to take time. So that's why pull marketing outsmarts push marketing, because if you're able to pull and that pull lasts long, then you're able to really outlast your competition. Because the things that we've done for these clients in this last 6 months is what they're going to still benefit 24 months from now. And I thank God for Google Search Console because it tells you what your traffic was by this time last year. So if you were connected last year and we met in the middle of the year or we met towards the end of the year, it's going to tell you. The numbers don't lie. It will tell you X happened, this happened. And you can see a big shift. They were averaging about 10 million impressions. Now they're averaging 50 million impressions. And that's not even search, that's image search. Because when you go to Google Search Console, there's web, there's image, there's video, and there's news. There are 4 categories and they're ranking 50 million. That says a lot. And they were barely at 10. And that was 6 months ago. And now guess what's going to happen from this time next year? So when you think about these things, I always say, when you think about SEO, don't think about the price. Think about the hidden costs, because those hidden costs are way more than the visible cost that you're seeing. And it's either going to cost you later or it's going to cost you now, but it's going to save you problems later, or you're going to meet the problems later. People build websites every day, but those websites, are they seeing the light of day? Are they seeing Google? There's a client we're working with, they have a towing service in Georgia, and they have great tagging, but there's a problem. We can't be able to fix their domain, and we told them, we got to move out of Bluehost because we got to move you over to Hostinger. And guess what? They tell me today that she was telling me her husband told her that there was about $400 that was debited from their account for Bluehost. And I was like, hey, we talked about this a month ago. We need to move this thing over, because if not, they're going to take their payment, and that's for a whole nother year. And now you have to ask them to return it because you're not going to be there for the next year. So these things are important. We have another client that we're moving about 70 domains. So when you see about all different categories, different industries, I learned so much from my clients more than they learned from me and my team, because I'm like, wow, there's so many things happening. I just have my own website. I can only fix my own website. But when you start fixing others, it's like a mechanic. A mechanic can only fix their own car. But when you start fixing other cars, when you start fixing other models, other makes, you get to really see, oh, wow, this is what's under the hood. Okay. It changes everything. Your perspective changes. So that's why I'm talking about this today with this passion, because I want you to understand that pull marketing is where you want to be. Push marketing is what you want to see after you've pulled the traffic in. Because if someone is pushing the button to start, the car is going to start. But if that car is not working, that start button is not going to do anything. If that battery, that engine is not there, or is not functional, or is not active, or is not working at high capacity, or high performance, or high potential energy. So these are very key metrics to consider, because you can be able to do it at a long-term gain as well. Sandeep says, focus word, use primary keyword, heading 1 to 6, image, alt text, internal links, tags. Yes, that's all on-page SEO, which is important. But if you have on-page SEO, but no technical SEO, then the on-page is not going to be seen, because you already have bots blocking. You know, when you think about bots, they are not just one bot. There's Anthropic, there's Ahrefs, there's Google, there's Apple Intelligence, there's Amazon, there's DuckDuckGo, there's Yandex, there's Piddle. There's so many bots out there before you even think about search engines. One day I'll talk about search bots versus search engines, because like you said, Sandeep, you know, you can use it both in in ads and, you know, without ads. You can definitely do that, but you'll be spending more money if you were running ads without organic, because the same ads you're paying $4 for on the click is what I'm earning for $4 per click without paying for that $4. So I'm actually getting 8 and you're getting 4, because you have to spend 4 to get 4 back. So you have to think about that. Or you have to spend 5 to overbid or go on top of the bid. When it comes to bidding, you think about like a car auction. When you think about bidding, it goes up. So if the price of gas is high today, it's because something happened yesterday. If the price of your thing is here, it's because of that happening there. There's about 26 million searches a month on SEO. 26 million searches a month. And how do I know this? I went to meetglimpse.com. Go to that website too, meetglimpse.com. It's like Google Trends on supercharge, on steroids. Check it out. You'll see it. 26 million searches a month, SEO just alone. There's a lot going on. So we have to really think about these things too. And I see as well in the chat, Jasmine, you said, is that including ads or all organic? When you look at this, it's both. Because when you look at ads that you're running ads based on organic feedback. When they say put the ad title, put the ad description, put the link, destination link, put your meta pixel, all that is still SEO too. Because that title, that emoji, that link has some SEO to the back of it. That link that you're connecting to has meta titles in them. It has a sitemap connected. It has a robots connected. If that's connected, there's a Google search connected. There's a DNS rec connected. There's an MX record connected. There are different layers than just the destination link. So whenever I tell people don't run ads, if you haven't organically established yourself online, then you'll be spending more money, because those links you're sending them to, you could be spending $20 when you could have been spending $2. So you have to think about how you're taking that to the next level. And Sandeep says SEO takes time, but it's really the best. Yes, Ingrid, it's Meet Glimpse, MEETGLIMPSE. Meet Glimpse. I'm going to put the link in the chat. And I'm going to talk about this more so that you can check this out, because for me, I'll give you all the tools, all the tricks, all the things, but when things need to start to happen, I want to be there and see you win, and let's work on it together. So the link is available in the chat, and click on it, check it out, and you can see it for yourself. You get about 10 free searches a month. So use those 10 free searches sparingly. I'll say it again, use those 10 searches sparingly. If you do not want to use a paid version, you have 10 free searches a month. That's free information for you today. So before we go, John, what would be your final takeaway and one action step somebody can take? And also, how can they connect with you? And then we'll come to you, Dr. Fashion.
So here's the thing that I learned from Dr. Fashion. She actually, this made a huge difference for me. I'm just looking at Facebook or YouTube analytics, and we've grown since about the 28th of last month till today, 2,100 subscribers. So here's what you do, and everybody can do this. This is the free aspect. There is a paid aspect, but this is free. Go to if you have a YouTube channel, doesn't matter, mine or podcast, that's where my biggest growth has been on. Look for your biggest video that's getting the biggest view, the one that has the most views. Download the artwork for that. Dr. Fashion recommended a different AI. I use ChatGPT. Upload it in ChatGPT. There's a plus sign. Upload that image, and then simply type in this prompt. Create a YouTube thumbnail in an attention-getting style. It'll take a few moments. The image is make sure it's right. Download the image and put it in the thumbnail. That's all you got to do. That has made a huge, huge difference for me. Since I started doing this Favour, you and I haven't talked. I'm going to be speaking in DC in front of 30,000 people, 30 to 40,000 people on May 13th because of YouTube. So this is something, if I can do this, you can do this. There's a pay component. If you want to do this, you can spend as little as $100. Go to your content, your YouTube studio, click on content, and you'll see the content to the right. You'll see 3 dots. Click on the 3 dots and click promote and select subscribers only. Most people have plenty of views. They don't have enough subscribers. And you can spend $100 and it will promote that video for subscribers. If you're using one with the new thumbnail that you created, because time's an issue for me and I'm not an artist, it's a double bang. So why not check it out? And that's courtesy of Dr. Fashion. Thank you very much.
Dr. Fashion, I told you guys, she's like a sniper. She's just going to be like, okay, what we doing? I love it. Thank you, Dr. Fashion. Appreciate you. Yes, it's a big deal. What's up?
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think in general, for one, shout outs to John, because that's amazing that you're going to be speaking in front of that many people. Oh, that's a big deal. We need a recap after the event. But yeah, I want to say this is a really great room. I was talking to you before how I plan to do paid marketing this year because I've never done it. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll be able to come back and talk a little bit about it. But I've learned a lot in here. I'm always learning from you, so it's always exciting when you open up a room. So I can't wait for your next one, but thanks for having me, Favour.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fashion. Appreciate you, and congratulations to you too, John. That's a big deal, and I can't wait to hear all the good things that happen. Yes, it's definitely because of times like this, moments like this. And I remember, John, it's actually funny now that I'm thinking about it, because was it like a year or two ago, you were like, I'm not going on YouTube. My content on podcast is not for YouTube.
And by the way, I do 0 videos. My podcast, and what it was the RSS feed, the automatic import. Okay, if it's there, I might as well take advantage of it. So it's just another way of getting exposure. And most people, here's the requirements for YouTube. 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours viewed of videos to start the monetization. So if you got the views already, but you don't have subscribers, this is an easy fix. So if you're not like me, if you don't do a lot of videos, this can be an exceptional tool for you.
100%. I love the way it's now not just video, it's also audio with podcasts. Now it's file attachments like PDFs. It's polls and text images on the community tab. Yeah, YouTube is definitely a place to be. So thank you so much for that. I can't wait to hear the post-event tales. It will be exciting to hear that too. Thank you all for being here. Reggie, Chris, thank you for being here as well. Jasmine, No Carbs, Bridget, Mr. Chris, Ingrid, Chioma, Jay, Maya, VS950, Claudine, Tef, thanks for being here too. John, Dr. Fashion, y'all appreciate it. I'm glad that we talked about this today. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, connect with me here. The best way to know when I'm here on Clubhouse, and I always say this before I leave the room, is to hit on my face to the right. You're going to see 3 dots. It will say notification settings. Turn that to always. Because when I join a room, I usually send it out to my community on Instagram. But if you have your app, here on Clubhouse and you're active, feel free to tap that and you can be able to now connect with me there. So I'm excited to be here again with you. We have a lot of topics to talk about, and I'll definitely be here again tomorrow. So I'll let you guys know what we'll talk about, but I'm glad we were able to pull this off today. No pun intended on the pull marketing. So thank you so much for being here. Have a happy Friday, a blessed Friday, and I'm going to see you guys in the next episode. Take care. Bye for now. Welcome to season 13, where you listen, you live, you learn, and you earn. A lot of information is always given on this show. So we're in the 13th season. God has brought us so far, and I just want to thank God for the opportunity to connect with you today on such quiet, calm space like this. So thank you for listening. Know that Jesus loves you, and know that you can always connect with me on the We Don't Play podcast show. More specifically, go to wedon'tplaypodcast.com, or you can go to playinc.online. That is PLAYINC.online, and get in touch with me. Let's get on a call. Let's talk. Let's focus on SEO for 2026 and beyond. So until we meet in the next episode, God bless you. Jesus loves you. Stay hydrated, stay safe, and stay blessed, and stay tuned. Bye for now.